There are three critical factors that impact the healthful properties of your tea, and we feel so strongly about them at Silk Road that our teas are exclusively organic, fresh, and don't use any artificial flavors. Tea's freshness is associated with its antioxidant values, and the studies that are done on the healthful properties of tea are mostly conducted in Asian countries where all they do is drink fresh tea. Tea is a vegetable, and over time it becomes stale. And when it becomes stale, it loses its healthful properties. Crushing a leaf can also lose its healthful properties, and in fact, using low-quality tea can also affect its healthful properties. At Silk Road, we pay very close attention to ensuring our tea is extraordinarily fresh and that you get access to the highest quality, freshest tea that is equivalent to what you would be experiencing if you lived in Asia. The taste of tea is impacted by the freshness too. Fresh, high-quality teas tend to have a natural sweetness to them. They're less bitter. The flavors are also more complex. Organic growing practices are really critical to the healthful properties of tea as well. First of all, if you're drinking tea for its healthful properties, you want to be careful because normally, if tea is not grown organically, pesticides are used. And pesticides leave residues, which then are things that you would be ingesting in your daily dose of tea. But the other factor is if a tea plant is not grown organically, a lot of artificial commercial fertilizers are used. From a sustainability point, that's not a great idea because they actually have a high carbon footprint and they can end up polluting the land and the water from the pesticides as well as the fertilizers. Also, what happens is that the tea plant is forced to produce more leaves, and when it's forced to produce more leaves and grow more rapidly, the plant actually doesn't have the same time to develop the complex immune system and the robustness and the healthiness that leads to really great tasting tea, because that's impacted by how the tea is grown too. So we get nicer flavor, we get smoother flavor, we get more complexity of flavor, and we're also getting more antioxidants too. Now finally, we always avoid artificial flavors in our tea at Silk Road. We prefer to add flavor to our tea through natural plants and flowers and ingredients. Artificial flavors have become increasingly popular in tea, and it's because they're inexpensive, they can mask low quality tea, and they're widely available. But the problem is that when you see on a label an artificial ingredient or an artificial flavor, it actually has a lot more in it than you might think. So for instance, if we use the example of artificial vanilla has many ingredients in it. Sometimes what can hide in it are colorants, additives, things like gluten and soy. If you've got food intolerances or if you've got chemical sensitivities, these ingredients can actually be things that you want to avoid as well. Whereas when you use natural ingredients to flavor teas, studies show that they can boost the antioxidant value. So a great example of that might be organic citrus peel or spices, which boost the antioxidant value of your tea as well.